Saturn is so light, it would float in water. Drop it in a giant bathtub, and it bobs like a cork. That's because Saturn is mostly gas, less dense than the water in your glass. You are literally denser than an entire planet. Now, think about standing on Saturn. You couldn't. There's no solid ground beneath your feet. You'd sink through thickening clouds until the pressure crushed you. The planet is basically a bottomless ocean of gas. Here's something you can feel in your own gut. A day on Saturn lasts only about 10.5 hours. This giant spins faster than you can finish a workday. If you lived there, you'd age through days at dizzying speed. Its rings look solid, but you could pass your hand right through them. They're made of countless chunks of ice and rock. Some pieces are like grains of sand. Others are as big as houses or mountains. And they're incredibly thin. The rings stretch hundreds of thousands of miles wide. Yet they're often only about 30 feet thick. Imagine a sheet of paper the size of country. That's how flat Saturn's rings really are. Those rings are also bright because they're mostly water ice. The same ice that chills your drink. Sunlight bounces off them like fresh snow on a mountain. That's why you can spot them through a small telescope. But here's the part that stings a little. Saturn's rings are slowly disappearing. Ice is raining down onto the planet as a fine dust. Scientists say the rings might vanish in 100 million years. You're living in the rare window when they exist. Now feel the cold. Saturn's average temperature is around minus 180 degrees Celsius. Your warm breath would freeze instantly in that air. The atmosphere is a mix of hydrogen and helium. Yes, the same helium that squeaks your voice at parties. There's a hurricane on Saturn's south pole shaped like a rose. Its eye is thousands of miles across. That single eye is bigger than many planets. Winds there scream far faster than any storm you've felt. And at the North Pole, there's a giant hexagon, a six-sided cloud pattern wider than two Earths. Each straight side stretches nearly 9,000 miles. Nature almost never makes perfect shapes that huge. Scientists recreated it in the lab with spinning fluid. So it's physics you could stir up in a bucket. Saturn has more than 140 moons. That's more than any other planet in the solar system. You have one moon lighting your night sky. Saturn juggles a whole crowd of them. One moon, Titan, has lakes and rivers you'd recognize. But they're not filled with water. They're filled with liquid methane and ethane, cold enough to freeze you solid. It even rains there, just not the rain you know. Titan also has a thick orange haze around it. It's the only moon with a real, dense atmosphere. If you stood there, the pressure would feel like being underwater. And gravity, so weak you could flap wings and fly. Another moon, Enceladus, shoots geysers into space. Jets of water erupt from cracks near its south pole. Beneath its icy crust hides a global ocean. Salty, liquid water, may be warm enough for life. Some of that spray feeds Saturn's outer ring. So one tiny moon is literally building a ring. Here's a fact that plays with your sense of size. If Saturn were as close as the moon, it would fill your sky. Its rings would stretch from horizon to horizon. You tilt your head back just to see the edges. Now think about how long light takes to reach you. Sunlight touches Saturn about 80 minutes after leaving the sun. When you look at Saturn through a telescope, you see the past. You're watching light that left over an hour ago. Saturn's gravity is surprisingly close to Earth's at the cloud tops. You'd weigh almost the same standing there if you could. So your body wouldn't feel crushed by weight, just by pressure. It's the storms and cold that would get you first. And here's a strange twist about those famous rings. From certain angles, they disappear completely. Every 15 years or so, they turn edge onto us. That thin sheet becomes nearly invisible from Earth. For a moment, Saturn looks naked without its crown. Then slowly, the rings tilt back into view. Galileo saw this centuries ago and was confused. He thought Saturn's rings were giant ears or handles. His telescope was too weak to see the truth. You have better views on your phone than he ever had. Saturn even makes sounds in a way. Spacecraft recorded radio waves crackling from a planet. Converted to audio, it sounds like haunting whistles. It's the same physics behind the static in your speakers. And finally, feel this in your bones. The chunks of ice in those rings are ancient. They may have formed when dinosaurs still walked the earth. Every time you look up at that ringed world, you're seeing something older than your entire family tree. If you love feeling the universe up close, subscribe to Better Night, and let's keep wondering together.